Welcome back, Super Friends. Today we are going to practice adding and subtracting fractions. It's going to be the stuff that we already learned, but there might be a few word problems, a couple two-step problems here and there. What you'll need for today is your math notebook or folder, a pencil to write with, and don't forget that super brain of yours. Stay tuned for the video. Super Friends, we are going to be adding and subtracting fractions and then simplifying. We will be spending most of the time simplifying. And our last question, we're going to add the fractions and then simplify also. I mostly want us to get the idea of simplifying going in our brain. That way we can find the most simplified answer, no matter if we're adding fractions or subtracting fractions, because a lot of the trickier questions that we have, the answer that we're looking for is simplified. So I want to make sure we know how to get to that simplified fraction. So simplify means to make a fraction into a smaller fraction. We will divide to do that. So if we look at the first example, it says simplify the fraction 10 over 24, 10 24ths. What that means, guys, is we're trying to get this 10 to the smallest number that it could be. We are trying to get this 24 to the smallest number that it can be. That way it could be the smallest type of fraction that gives us the same value. So if we put in the calculator 10 divided by 24, whatever that decimal is, we're still going to be able to get that decimal with the simplified fraction. It's just we want a smaller fraction to play with. So let's go ahead and get started. What we need to start doing, obviously, is we're dividing. That's what I put in the note that we have up top. So we have to divide something. And remember, whatever we do to the top, we do to the bottom. That's always going to be the same, no matter if we're multiplying or dividing. So since we are dividing right now to simplify, I want to think, what can I divide by 24 that I can also divide by 10 and it'll give me something even? So if we wanted to think about what are our factors of 10 or what are our factors of 24, we can think about it that way. So we're going to say factors of 10, and I'll say factors of 24. Factors 24. All right, guys, so we're going to get the factors of our 10 and then the factors of our 24. I will remind us what factors means again. Factors means what can I multiply together? What two numbers can I multiply together that will give me 10? That's what that's saying. Or what two numbers can I multiply together that will give me 24? So far, if we have 1 times 10, that's a factor pair. If we had 2 times what? 2 times 5. Is there anything else? No, 5 times 2, but we don't have to write that again because we already have 2 times 5 on there. So those are our factors for 10. Let's do the factors for 24. I usually start with the 1. So 1 times what gives me 24? 1 times 2, 1 to 4 gives me 24. Then, since 24 is an even number, I know 2 times something will give me 24. And if we know our 2's facts, we know 2 times 12 gives us 24. What about 3? 3 times what gives us 24? 3 times 8 gives us 24. What about 4? 4 times what gives us 24? 4 times 6 gives us 24. Does 5 times anything give us 24? Nope. And then we already have the 6. Does 7 times anything give us 24? Nope. We already have the 8. Does 9 times anything give us 24? Nope. But we have our 12 there. I know 10 doesn't either. Neither does 11. So it looks like we're all good here. So now what we're trying to see is what is the biggest number that we see on the left-hand side for our factors of 10 that we also see on the right-hand side for our factors of 24. So what is the biggest number that we see that's the same? To me, the only thing that I see that's the same is the number 2. That's the biggest one. So let's start dividing by 2. That's the number that we're going to divide by. So 10 divided by 2 equals what? Gives us 5. And then 24 divided by 2 gives us what? Gives us 12. So that is our simplified fraction. That is if we simplify the fraction. I like to do it this way with writing our factors here because it gives us, I can have my eyes on everything that I need to have my eyes on so I don't make a mistake. Because sometimes we might simplify something, but it won't be in the smallest form. It might just be in a smaller form, but that will require us to simplify again. And we only want to simplify once. I don't want to have to keep simplifying every time because that would just take so much effort. And we don't want that. We want to get our answer right the first time. All right, let's go to the second example. All right, so the second example says simplify the fraction 8/12. So again, what are we going to do? Get our handy dandy factors. So let's do factors of 8, factors of 12. All right, so if we do our factors of 8, I know that 1 times 8 equals 8. 8 is an even number, so I know 2 times what gives me 8? 2 times 4. Does 3 work? No, it does not. Does 5 work? No. 6? No. 7? No. All right, so that's it for our factors of 8. Let's do the factors of 12. 1 times 12. Notice that I always start with my 1. 12 is also an even number, so 2 times what gives me 12? 2 times 6. What about 3? 3 times what gives me 12? 3 times 4. Does 5 times anything give me 12? No, it does not. 6 we already have. Does 7 times anything give me 12? No, it does not. 8 times anything gives me 12? Nope. 9? No. 10? No. 11? No. And we already have the 12. So those are our factors that we're working with now. So what is the biggest number that we see that we get from both sides, both factors? All right, the biggest number I see the same is 4. I see 4 here. We do see another number, which is 2, but that wouldn't give us the simplest form. That would give us a smaller form, but then we would have to divide again to get the simplest form. So I always say choose the biggest factor that you see the same, so that way you can get the simplest fraction possible. So let's start our dividing. So we're going to divide by the factor that we circled. So whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top, but thankfully it's already there. I see that I'm dividing by 4 for both of them because I already circled that. All right, so 8 divided by 4 equals 2. And 12 divided by 4 equals 3. So this is our simplified form. That is the fraction simplified. It would be 2/3. If we were to throw this into a calculator, if we did 8 divided by 12, that would give us 0.66666, I think. And then if we did 2 divided by 3 in the calculator, that will also give us 0.6666666 forever. And that means that it's simplified and it's the same. So these are very easy. I just wanted to show you how to do them. Let's do the next one. All right. Ooh, 6 and 15. Interesting. Simplify the fraction. So the other ones we were able to kind of get a gist of what we would do because we knew that those numbers were also factors of the other numbers, so it kind of worked. But this time, I don't know anything times 6 that will give me 15 and vice versa. So I don't think that 6 is a factor of 15, but I'd love to see exactly which factor we're going to be using. So let's get the factors of our 6. And then the factors of our 15. Remember, factors are the numbers that we use to multiply together to get the number that we're looking for. So 1 times what gives me 6? 1 times 6. 6 is an even number, so I know 2 times what gives me 6? 2 times 3. 4 doesn't give me anything that will equal 6. Neither is 5, so that won't work. So those are our only factors that we have here. Let's do the 15s. 1 times 15, that will give me 15. 15 is not an even number. It is an odd number, so 2 will not work. So let's go to 3. Will 3 work? 3 times what gives me 15? 3 times 5. 4 times anything give me 15? Nope. 5 we already have. 6 times anything? No. 7 times anything? No. 8? No. 9? No. 10? No. 11? No. 12? No. 13? No. 14? No. And we already have a 15 there. So these are our only factors. What is the biggest number that we see on both sides. The biggest number that we see the same is the 3. So that means that we're going to be dividing by the 3. Okay, divide by 3. And that's going to give us our simplified fraction. So up top, what is 6 divided by 3? That equals 2. And then on the bottom, what is 15 divided by 3? That will give us 5. So that is our simplified fraction. That is how we simplify it. It means that it's equivalent, but in a smaller way. Instead of making it equivalent bigger, we made it equivalent smaller. All right, now let's actually do a addition problem and then simplify. So with our last example, we're going to find the sum in the simplest form. That means that we get our answer, excuse me, we get our answer and then simplify it. So starting off, let's do our first step when it comes to adding and get our common denominators. We have the 4, we have 16. Oh, I already know things about my 4 and 16. So let me count my 4s, and if I see 16, I'm going to stop when I'm skip counting my 4s. So 4, 8, 12, 16. Awesome, I can stop there. Then 16, that's the one that I'm stopping at. That's our common denominator. Common denominator is 16. Let's make equivalent fractions. So step 2, equivalent fractions. I'm going to do it up top because I don't want to waste any more paper. So 4 times what gives me that 16 that I'm trying to make? 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 4. And whatever I do to the bottom, do to the top, Miss Choice. All right. So I have 4 times 4 equals 16. 2 times 4 equals 8. So now that first new equation or first new fraction is 8 over 16. And did I have to change anything about my 6/16? Nope, we didn't, because it was just already 16. We don't have to change anything at all. So awesome. I'll just bring that back down over here and let's add. So our step 3 is to add. Okay, what do we get? 8 plus 6 is, drum roll please, 14. Our 16 stays the same. So now we have our answer, 14 over 16. But I know that I can simplify this, and my question says find it in the simplest form. So I have to simplify. So let me go ahead and get my factors that I'm looking for. Factors of 14, and then factors of 16. All right, should be fairly simple. So 1 times 14 is 14. I know that 14 is an even number, so I can do 2 times something gives me 14. 2 times 7, that does work. 3 times something, nope. 4 times something, no. 5, no. 6, no. We already have 7. 8, no. 9, no. 10, no. 11, no. 12, no. 13, no. We already have 14. So that's all of it for our 14s. Let's do 16. 1 times 16 equals 16. 16 is also even, so 2 times what gives me 16? 2 times 8 gives me 16. So that works. 3 times anything give me 16? Nope. What about 4? 4 times 4 gives me 16. What about 5? No. 6? No. 7? No. 8? We already have it. 9? No. 10? No. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15? No. And we already have the 16. So now what's our only hope? Only hope here is to circle the biggest number that we see the same. Biggest number that I see the same is the 2. So we're going to be dividing both of these numbers by 2. So let's divide by 2, and that will give us our simplified fraction. All right, so 14 divided by 2 is 7. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 7/8, that is our simplified form of our answer for the sum. So the answer is 7/8. That's how simplified it is. Feels good. So we're going to use all these steps today to get our answers. Some of our answers, well, yeah, because I think some of them are simplified. Some of our answers won't be simplified, and that's okay. So some of our answers might just have that 14 over 16. That's cool. But some of them might have choose all of them that equal this. And we might see the 14 over 16 and the 7 over 8. And we have to know that those are the same. and we have to check to make sure that they're good. So use the scale to answer your questions. Of course, you know where to find me if you need help.